Hi everyone, welcome back to Cat's Book Nook. Today is actually Friday when I'm recording this because I'm not sure what's going to happen on Sunday. So I wanted to go ahead and get content ready to go so that way when we got home and started to unpack, I could just upload it and throw in some tags and links and you guys would see new content. I'm trying to be really consistent with this channel. I'm not great at consistency and I'm not great at staying on track with different things, so I'm hoping this pre-recording things works out. So let's get started with the mid-year book freakout tag. There's 15 questions that go over books I've read so far, books I've liked so far, books I haven't liked so far, books that made me cry, some that made me happy. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I've read 64 books so far this year. Of those 64, 18 were graphic novels from the Fable series, 4 from Sandman, and then 4 from the Saga series. So 26 of those books were actually graphic novels, which if you've seen the Saga series are about that thick. I've got 2 more that I need to finish from the Saga series, but that series isn't even on this list, so I don't know why I'm talking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in so I can stop rambling. So question number 1 is the best book you've read so far this year. I have a lot of really great books on this on my list of 64 books, including the Every Heart a Doorway book from Shannon McGuire that I talked about in my wrap-up video. Book was fantastic. Actually, I'm going to put that down as the best book that I've read so far because when I wrote out my answers, I hadn't read it yet. So, best book so far would be Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. Please go read it. The hype to me, was worth it. I'm looking forward to reading Uprooted just because the hype on Booktube for Uprooted was pretty unanimous that it's a good book. Question number 2 is best sequel that you've read so far this year. I have 2 books for this category. First book is Etched in Bone by Anne Bishop. This is the final book in the original Others series set that she's done. I think she's supposed to be coming out with more books from the Others, but they're not going to be the same main characters. I really like this book. I thought it was well written and a decent end to the 5-book set. The other book that I'm going to put on here that hasn't gotten a lot of popular reviews, and I really liked it because I thought that it wrapped up fairly well. It showed how a character got past her grief, how other people got past their grief, how grief brings people together in some not so conventional ways, and the plot twist for that book, I definitely did not see that coming at the beginning of it. So the second book for best sequel that I've read so far this year is After You by JoJo Moyes. Again, a lot of people reacted very poorly to this book. I thought it was really good. So I liked it. Book 3. Question 3. New release you haven't read yet but want to. There's a lot of new releases that people keep talking about that have come out this year that I just haven't had a chance to get to, and I don't even have the list of names for you guys yet. So look forward to that coming up in some TBRs. Question number 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I like The Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet, so I'm going to check out the new Jamie Ford book that should be coming out in September called Love and Other Consolation Prizes. It's supposed to be set in 1909 in Seattle during the World Fair, and he researches his books really well, so I'm really looking forward to see how that book flows. I would be the best way to put that, because Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet I liked a lot, which is why it's on my to-be read list this summer. So that's the book that I'm looking forward to. Question 5. Biggest disappointment. I talked about this book in my June wrap-up video as being the book that I did not finish. Biggest disappointment was the Anita Blake series. I like Laurel K. Hamilton's writing. After book 2 of the Anita Blake series, Anita Blake, I read her as a, not young adult, but I read her when I was 19, and I like the series. As a 29 going on 30-year-old, though, Anita in book 3 is totally condescending. The fact that she dragged Jean-Claude through the mud just to end up dating him in, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the series, end up dating him in book 4 or 5 of the series. Just, no. I'm good. I did not finish the Killing Dance. I kept waiting for them to have relations. They didn't. So, I liked it back then. Don't like it now. Number 6. Biggest surprise. So, again, in my June wrap-up video, I talked about the book The Shack by William Paul Young. I'm not a religious person at all, but I really enjoyed that book. It goes through a man's grief. A lot of my books talked about grief. It goes through Mac's grief and how he comes to terms with not only his daughter, but also his religion and what's going on with his family right now. I wanted to read the book before I watched the movie. That was the biggest surprise, was that I enjoyed it, because I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because of the religious undertones that it did have. Question number 7 is favorite new author, debut or new to you? Either Vicki Peterson or William Paul Young, for reasons already stated in this video. Their writing just really flowed for the books that they wrote and the audience that they were writing those books for. So, best debut authors for me. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. So, my newest fictional crush had to be Kit from the Celestial Blue series. Either Kit or Nancy from Every Heart a Doorway, just because strong, independent-seeming women who were brilliant and dressed very sharply. Nancy wore black, white, shades of gray, and had a pomegranate ribbon in her hair because she had to earn her colors in where she's from. And Kit dresses in this 1950s, 1960s style. They call it rockabilly in the series. I actually kind of like that. So, biggest crush were those two. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. Both of those were great. Simon actually pulled it off as kind of being one of the better characters that I'd seen. But, yeah. Those 3, I think, would go up there with newest favorite character. Although Simon's not really new, so I don't think he counts. But, definitely Kit and Nancy. Question 10. Books that made you cry. The Shack definitely made me cry, especially at the end when just everything sort of, all the puzzle pieces fell into place, and I really just, the feels in that book, just, yeah. After You made me cry, because I really was not expecting the ending that JoJo had for that book, so it was very heart-wrenching, but very powerful, the way she wrote that. There were a few other books that made me cry, but I don't remember them off the top of my head because it's been a while since I read them. Question number 11. What book made you happy? After You made me happy because the ending for that book couldn't have been better. Louisa goes and does what Louisa does best, and I'm kind of hoping she makes the best of that situation. Not sure there's going to be a third book. I'm actually kind of hoping there's not, because I think the The covers on that book has closed, so please no more books. Question 12 was favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. I've seen 2, but of the 2 that I've seen, Me Before You had to be the better of the 2. It stayed pretty true to the book, with a few kind of different. I don't think they added Will's sister into that movie, and the ending of that movie was not the same as the book. A lot of times the endings aren't the same as the book. The Shack had that issue where the ending for the book I thought was a lot better than the ending for the movie. I did watch that, but Me Before You was the better of the 2 movies. Question 13. Favorite review you've written this year? I don't have one yet because I haven't done one yet. So when I have one, I will probably have a better answer to this question. Question 14. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or have received. So I do a lot of library books. I haven't bought any books. I might buy some books for my birthday next week. We'll see. But The Taken had to be one of the better covers I've read. I actually picked that book up for the cover. That's the only reason I picked that book up, and I just kept reading that series because, yeah, it turned out to be a good series. Last question is question number 15. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? There are way too many books to name. A lot of the books on these shelves back here I need to get through by the end of this year. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because it is about time for us to start heading towards our campsite. And if you guys have any book recommendations that you'd like me to try and get to through the end of this year, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys on Thursday with my AuthorTube video. Hopefully it's different than what this last one was, because I think there's only so many times I can talk about the same book. So with that, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and a great start to July, and I will see you guys on Thursday.